If you've ever suffered with motion sickness, it can be really uncomfortable. I've got 5 natural tips to help with your motion sickness that actually work. Okay, we know that motion sickness, which you may not have known, could be related to a histamine triggered system. So we know histamine correlated with a lot of allergy symptoms. So this could be happening when your vestibular system, your visual and your sensory input, so your somatosensory systems, are not getting coordinated information. A great example of this is being in an airplane or being and driving in a car and reading at the same time, because your eyes aren't necessarily coordinating with the motion that's happening outside of the vehicle. Now, when there's this conflict between, let's say, your body that's in motion and your eyes can't see exactly where it's going, this can trigger that histamine release in the brain. And one of the things that can happen is that the receptors for histamine, called the H1 receptors on the brainstem, control also vomiting, the emetic response. So this can make you feel sick to your stomach because of that histamine release. So if you're that person who cannot read in a car, or you don't feel well, or you get nauseous and you feel funny when you're in an airplane or on a train, this is something that could definitely be related to that histamine release. But the good news is, for your motion sickness, I've got 5 natural tips that actually work. Okay, tip number 1, you're gonna do your best to sit facing forward when you are in motion in any type of vehicle or in an airplane. It's going to do wonders so that your eyes can somewhat perceive the fact that you're going in the forward direction. Okay, tip number 2 is to use some peppermint essential oil. Now I'm gonna be giving you a demonstration how to use this exactly on a specific acupuncture point. That's gonna come up in a second. Okay, tip number 3 for motion sickness is to use whole food vitamin C, which acts like a natural antihistamine. It's fantastic to help to decrease some of that reactivity in the brainstem according to those histamine receptors. Okay, tip number 4 for motion sickness is to practice grounding. So what is this? Or earthing, it's also called. That means, taking off your socks and your shoes, getting connected with the earth. The other places that you can ground is to go swimming in the ocean, in a large body of water, in a river, in a stream. So just connecting with the earth's electrons will help for you to reconnect with your local environment, bringing up those electrons into your body, which is very anti-inflammatory and can really help with grounding you again so that it will alleviate that motion sickness. And tip number 5 is to use natural antihistamines. Yes, they do exist in nature. So some of my favorites, and a combination of actually taking these together is incredible. And this is what I use every time I fly, or if I'm feeling a little bit sick in either a train or a boat. This is remarkable. So the combination of quercetin, a natural antihistamine from the Sephora japonica plant, beautiful natural ingredient that doesn't give you the drowsiness and some of the negative side effects which often go with conventional antihistamines. Butterbur, also a plant, a natural antihistamine, and stinging nettle, also a natural antihistamine that Mother Nature gives us without those negative side effects. Okay, now I promised I would show you that acupuncture point for motion sickness. You may be aware of this if you've ever used C-bands, or during pregnancy if you had, nausea related to pregnancy, and it's called pericardium 6. So the way that you find this is you look at the big wrist crease that you have, so that big wrist crease, and where you see a line there, and it's about 4 centimeters from that wrist crease. Or you can take your 3 middle fingers and place it along the wrist crease, and then where your 3rd finger ends up is roughly in that point. And it's right between those tendons, and all you have to do is massage, and you can put your drop of peppermint essential oil right in that spot and massage it gently by doing little circular motions. This is remarkable. So not only do you get the acupuncture effects of the pericardium 6, which is a natural antiemetic, so it helps with nausea and vomiting, but also the peppermint essential oil, specifically in this point, is going to really help for your motion sickness. So I want you to try that out. Let me know how it goes in the comments. I hope that you never have motion sickness again. But I want you to learn something else, and this is all about how fake vitamins affect your health, something definitely to be avoided. I'll see you there.